Everybody, it's Riley Hamilton, and I'm here to talk about Season 10, Episode 2 of Vanderpump Rules. But let's change the lighting in here and get a little Vanderpump Rules-esque. Okay, one more light. Okay, great. Now it looks like we are dining in Sir, and maybe Lisa is gonna walk by, or Sheena might serve us a little drink. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the episode that we just watched that aired tonight, or whenever you watched it. It's Season 10, Episode 2 of Vanderpump Rules. I love this episode. I think it's a 7 out of 10 on the Vanderpump Rules scale. I like the slower pace this week. I like that we got to settle in with all of our favorite cast members. And they really did a great job of just giving us what we wanted, which was that Schwartz and Sandy's Daily Mail party. We got to spend maybe 20 minutes of the episode just with our best friends, having fun at Schwartz and Sandy's. But I made some notes that I'm going to have to refer to, so just give me 1 second. I thought there was a lot of crying in this episode, which was really interesting. Raquel has that breakdown with Peter, which, you know, she just talks about how depressed she is. I'm gonna put George down. She talks about how depressed she is, and Peter comforts her. And then I know, as an audience, we all started crying when Peter and Raquel's relationship came to an end this episode. I thought that was very sad. Raquel told Peter that she'd like to pump the brakes and just be friends, and Peter took it, pretty well considering, but that was sort of a gut punch for all of us. I wanted to say, in addition to crying, Katie cried, and then Tom Schwartz really cried. I've never seen anything like that. They cut to him, and he was bawling, crying, with tears streaming down his face, and that was very sad. And he had an iconic confessional. He was like that scene in The Notebook, and he was so sad, and yeah, this episode was somber in a way because of the fallout with Schwartz and Raquel, and then I wanted to say something about my new favorite character on the show, which I think he should be in the introduction, but his name is Greg, and he is Tom and Tom's new boss, and he's like Lisa, but he doesn't take any shit from these boys. He is like this gruff older man that just doesn't like their sense of humor. He doesn't think they're fun. And he really lays down the law with these two rascals. And I think that he should be in the intro. They should insert Greg in the intro at Schwartz and Sandy's. And he should be standing behind Schwartz and Sandy's like this with his arms crossed. And he should be going like, these crazy kids. Because he has such an amazing energy. All right, this is going to continue in part 2 because I have so much to say. This is part 2 of my Vanderpump Rules Season 10, Episode 2 breakdown. I was talking about Greg, how I think he brings such an iconic energy, new, fresh energy to this show. They've never had a person like him, this disapproving older guy that just says, what the hell are these two kids doing? Lisa liked Tom and Tom's shenanigans too much. She did disapprove of them, but not like Greg. Greg was like this new dad, like they talked about in the show. He was fun. He's a breath of fresh air. I think he needs to be in the intro. I think he needs a tagline. To see the impact that Schwartz and Sandy's had on their relationships, it seems like Ariana got affected by Sandoval's relationship with the bar, and Schwartz's relationship definitely got affected by the bar. It just seems like that bar really put them all through the ringer. I mean, that was a big deal, that thing. And it was cool to see the aftermath of that, even though it's kind of sad for Tom and Tom. I loved this is my last thing about Greg, but the Lisa and Greg scene was really great because he was like, these kids didn't know anything about running a bar, and they co-owned Tom Tom, so they must have not done anything for Tom Tom. So when he got them, he's like, who the hell are these two people who don't know anything about running a restaurant? That was kind of fun. I liked Greg and Lisa's camaraderie. I think there were some sparks flying, but I know Ken was watching. You could see Ken going, like, he was a little scared because Greg and Lisa had sparks flying when they were talking a little bit. James and Allie, I'll tell you, I'll be honest. James had a poor showing this episode. I didn't like that date with him and Allie. I thought he was being a little strange, teaching her how to eat, and he was teaching her how to eat a burger, and she's like, I know how to eat. And he was saying a bunch of weird stuff to her, and he kept kissing her too much. Sort of claustrophobically kissing her, like incessantly, like that's kind of like it's like a power move to kiss somebody so much that they can't even breathe. When he saw Raquel, he immediately started kissing Allie. It was like, oh, I gotta kiss Allie so bad. Didn't really like that from James. That was kind of, I don't know, wasn't James' best. this episode. I'll just say that. Okay, negatives. I need to see the cast back together in an event where there's not a big event that's distracting them, like James DJing or this Daily Mail party. They need to go somewhere like a house and just hang out, because the group seems very divided now. And I know Schwartz and Katie are actually divided, but we need some group energy back, because it feels very divided right now. I hope that happens. And here comes part 3, so stay tuned. And here is part 3 of my Vanderpump Rules season 10 episode 2 breakdown. I wanted to say that I think the most beautiful scene, or the most profound scene this episode, was Schwartz and Katie finally talking at Schwartz and Sandy's. They were both so, raw and sad, and they talked earlier in the episode about how Schwartz, lost his family, or people have come close to losing their families and their homes while they're building a restaurant or making a restaurant. And then Katie literally said that this restaurant and bar in part was responsible for their breakup, and Schwartz had to hear that firsthand right from her. I thought that was a impactful scene. And then Katie can't even look at Schwartz because she's about to cry, and they just both seem so sad, and it's obviously a big deal. That was a powerful scene, so sad. And then it led into that Schwartz scene where he was talking about the notebook and he was crying, and yeah, that was beautiful and impactful. So I just want to end this this breakdown talking about my most valuable player this episode and least valuable player. Most valuable player, Tom Schwartz. He really brought it this episode. He's going through so much. He's crying. He's talking about the notebook. He was still having fun at the Daily Mail party. And him and Sandoval did such a good job of hosting at Schwartz and Sandy's. I loved that they were just happy and excited and really showing off. And that was so nice to see. But Schwartz was the MVP of this episode, along with Greg. I think Greg is the standout star. He was so good this episode. Amazing. And then my LVP was James. I really didn't like how he talked to Allie. I really didn't like that date with Allie. I think he was being weird. And I love James so much, but there were some psychologically disturbing things going on at that dinner. So that's it. That's my recap and breakdown. I love you guys so much. Let's get excited for next week.